Hello, friends. How are we? Welcome back, everyone. It is another Adventures Tabletop D&D session. My name is, of course, Win. You can, and I, on behalf of the party, would like to thank you all for being here as my players rampantly roll dice, trying to get all of their quote-unquote bad rolls out of their system. This is a group we've been together for over a year now, with a couple of members floating in and out. We are, yeah, there's all our socials there. So again, if you haven't, there are a few of us who are streamers. There are a few of us who are not. So feel free to join us on any of our socials or on Twitch and that kind of jazz to see some of the other stuff we do. This is, of course, a D&D and tabletop specific channel that we have here. We just kind of wanted to use it as a way to separate from any of our other channels and go from there. With that being said, we are getting ever and ever closer to affiliate. We are 14. We need 14 more followers to kind of tick that one off of our list for affiliate things. So if you have not done so already, or if you know of a friend, possibly someone who would be willing to help us out, and just come over and click that follow button. It costs a whopping $0 in any currency that you can think of. Zero currency. It's practically free. We would greatly appreciate it. With that being said, zero, nada, nil. With that being said, guys, we're gonna dive into some D&D here. This is episode number, looking over at the stream, 10. It's but wait, there's more. That's it. That's it. So yeah, this is episode number 10. Our group has last session, which was 2 weeks ago, because last week we respected the Twitch blackout to stand with people who have fallen victim to sexual abuse, sexual assault, and sexual misconduct within the content creation space. So 2 weeks ago, when we were last together, we the group made their way into this raiding camp. They've been tracking a monk named Leosin that they believe has been working on trying to infiltrate. That was working on trying to infiltrate the camp of the raiding party that sieged Greenest. They've tracked this group out to kind of like a traveling camp. The group has kind of snuck their way in by making it look like one of the characters, Rack, was a prisoner and was being brought in to be added to the prisons. While this is all happening, the rogue Draxon took off and tried to and successfully made a commotion elsewhere in the channel, elsewhere in the camp, therefore drawing the attention of the guards and just about everybody who's in the camp off to one side. While the rest of the group made their way kind of right down Main Street and into the camp. During this commotion, the alarms have started to go off, and various members of the camp have started to make their way. These are cultists, acolytes, a bunch of kobolds have all been making their way out towards the western side of the camp, while the party moving with Rack have been moving east, deeper into the camp. The last thing that kind of happened is, to my knowledge, or to my memory, I should say, is you guys were looking to set this tent that you were standing in on fire. You can go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong.
You are correct.
Okay. So this purple circle that's over to the east side of the camp is for what the party and what people seem to kind of be able to decipher is that this is kind of like the boss, right? Like the head head war camp tent. So nobody has seen anyone come in or out of there other than a couple very large half dragon, half human kind of abominations, if you will, almost, that have. These are similar to what the party has seen when they were in Greenest. Also, there is a third half dragon, half human, kind of down, maintaining some sort of guard in the. Where is the. Maintaining some kind of guard around the prisoner camp, because that's what a good guard does. So you guys are currently in this tent, and you guys, the last thing you guys were talking about doing was setting it on fire. So let's discuss. What is the plan?
So, what's our game plan? We're gonna set this on fire as we leave, and we're heading which direction, guys?
I thought last time we saw I think like 4 guards or something around. I don't know if it was a tent or if it was like a but there was like 4 guards, I want to say, and they were like guarding like prisoners or something.
So, yeah, go ahead, Sheila.
No,
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
Atterneck.
I believe it was the tent that Wynn indicated over to the east that you're referring.
So, yeah. So what you guys kind of have here? What the heck is going on here? Sorry, I'm having some questionable. Having some question. There we go. Having some questionable crap happen here. Yeah. So what you see is like where this purple circle is. You've seen two kind of half dragon, two half dragons, half human kind of things, similar to the champion that you guys have run into. There we go. Bada bing. So you've seen, yeah, there's these two half dragon, half humans that have walked out of this tent, and you kind of see them like patrolling around a little bit. There we go. That'll work. You can kind of see them patrolling around a little bit, like walking around the camp, like around that tent a little bit. They're very much you can tell again that these guys are a little bit of an abomination. Like these are not normal humans, and nor are they normal dragons, right? They're some sort of weird, Dr. Frankenstein's monster in between. Although I mean, it's not stitched together, but you get the point. Yeah, these guys are kind of out, like standing guard. You can see them constantly scanning, like they're scanning the horizon back and forth. They're taking a look. They're paying attention right now to the west, where there's like a large congregation of cultists and mercenaries and various kobolds and that sort of stuff that are all kind of moving towards what would be the front end of the camp. Like the way that this is built, you have a bunch of cliff faces and reasonably steep rock faces all around you here, and then you're kind of down in the bottom of this valley. Now what you guys are doing as they come out, like they're kind of paying a little bit of attention to that, but they've more or less resigned to let literally everything that is headed over that direction just kind of take care of that. So you kind of see them. They're definitely doing a lot of scanning right now, and then you see a third one down by by a bunch of tents.
In character.
Mhm.
So what's the plan? Are we gonna approach them over in that direction? Should we have just like one person do the talking, or what do you guys want to?
That Nero's just gonna look over at Uther and sort of shrug. Oh.
Well, I can do the talking, especially after that last guy that we talked to. I mean, I think that went pretty well.
Great, great. Yeah.
I mean, if they seem suspicious, I'm giving Rack his weapon.
Are we talking about the ones to the east or the ones to the south? There's just like a couple down south, right?
There's two to the east that you guys can see, and there's one to the south that you guys can see. I will put a couple thingies here. There's that fellow. And there is
On our way down south, right? Towards where all the prisoner.
Out of character, I believe we were headed to the east to get to the monk guy, correct?
So you've kind of sussed out so far that it seems that the like you don't know exactly where the monk is, right? So what you guys have kind of gathered thus far is that 25-foot circle, the one that's over to the east. I'm going to delete that 15-foot one because it's already bugging me. Remove this. So the 25-foot circle over to the east here is that is what seems to be the, like I said, the lead warband tent. So this is, like this one you can see the canvas is quite nice. There's no holes in it at all. It's kind of held together with some golden thread, or at least golden colored thread, I should say. It's held together. It's like stitched together with some golden thread. Like there's a couple banners sitting out front of it. You can see like a cask of ale or wine, something seems to be positioned outside so that people don't have to go that far. Or sorry, the person who's inhabiting this tent doesn't have to go that far to get some refreshment. You see that like this one just it appears better put together. The guards that have come out of it again are wearing nice armor. They're not wearing rags. The area that this one happens to be in, it happens to be what appears to be on like the flattest, most even ground that is still in a protected space. Like it's just like that tent in particular looks like it's fairly. It's nicer than the rest of the camp, like noticeably. What you've noticed is as you've gotten further and further into this little kind of coulee, is that as you go deeper into the coulee, as you've gone from like where the kobolds were staying, for example, which was way back at the beginning there, the accommodations weren't nice. Like the tents weren't very nice. They had holes and rips in them. The tents have like holes and rips in them. It's kind of muddy and uneven and lumpy up there. It's kind of in this weird, this really weird uneven space. The tents, like it just kind of looks very like there's just kind of like holes that would be used for latrines that have just kind of been dug haphazardly outside of these tents. Whereas the further you get into it, it looks a lot better. As you look to the south a little bit, where that one guard is there, you see that again things are kind of mixed. Like it's so. yeah, as you guys make your way in that front section there, basically to the west of that purple line that I drew, that's all like kobold stuff, right? And then as you get to the eastern side where you guys are now, and further over to the east and wrapping up to the northeast there, that's more, pardon me, hiccups. That's more like the cultists and the acolytes and some of the mercenaries and stuff like that. And then you notice, like, as you kind of get down towards the south a little bit near where this fellow is, you are seeing that this is now starting to become, it's still better than the kobolds, but not by much. Like there are tents with holes in them, and just you can kind of see sitting in a pile kind of outside of some of these tents are just what appears to be like manacles or something, kind of in a heap. There's like a stockades outside.
And is that to the is that like right south below us, or is that right behind him?
Yes, both.
So both the tents directly to the south of us and behind him both have like stockades and stuff like that.
Yeah, so kind of. Oh, for fuck's sakes! I'm trying to draw here. Come on, help me out here. I can have drawing. Enter drawing mode. Look at this. So kind of like this shit, all in here. All of this kind of has the same vibe to it.
So the south is definitely more of a prisoner type looking area to us.
Correct.
And this is also out of character. If I remember, I think we already cut a back hole in this tent, and we were getting ready to sneak.
We did.
Out.
That's correct. Yep, you're right. Yeah, so you kind of have like a slit cut in the back of the tent. Yes.
Rack's gonna point to these tents directly south of us and go, "Let's sneak into the next tent."
Seems as good a plan as any.
Annernek's gonna hand Rack his weapon back.
He loosens the ropes around his hands and puts his weapons where they should be.
Okay.
I'm ready when you guys are.
All right. This seems like a great plan.
Famous last words.
And then Rack's gonna do his best to sneak in that direction.
Okay. So are you? How are you going about this? Like what is your? Yeah, like how are you going about this? Like, are you sneaking? Like, are you actively trying to sneak? Are you just going for a stroll? Are you cautiously walking? Like give me an idea here.
So even though Rack's pretty tall, he's gonna try to probably stick to the like as soon as he leaves the tent, hit that side, I guess, of that hill, or and kind of stick to it as close as he can. Maybe I wouldn't say crouching too much, but as much as he can for a minotaur, and then just slowly making his way to the back side of that tent to where he can put another hole into it.
So what I'm getting out of this is you're actively trying to be relatively stealthy.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay. You're taking precautions to make yourself less noticeable. We'll put it that way.
Yes.
Okay. Make a stealth check.
Fantastic.
All of us or just Rack?
Well, Rack's the one who says he's going right now, so depends. Like, how do you guys want to continue to follow him? Because of your armor.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Gotcha. Okay. Climb. Okay. So yeah, so you guys can start seeing Rack start moving along. He's kind of doing like a Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing, you know. He's like,
Yes.
yeah, totally, right? So he's kind of doing like this Drax maneuver. Fucking cocksucker neighbors. Sorry. My neighbor has a like a 2011-ish Mustang. It's new to him, but I swear to Christ, he is like cut the muffler off the back of it, and when he starts his vehicle, he starts it with his foot on the accelerator as he's turning the engine. Anyways, so if you hear like a ridiculous like small dick energy fucking engine like rumbling through my microphone, I apologize. Sorry, it's been a day. So
Internet would have definitely followed along with Rack.
okay, and are you also going to be trying to take precautions to make yourself less noticed?
Definitely.
Okay, please make me a stealth check.
That would be a dirty 20.
Okay. Okay, so you two start going out. Again, Rack is like clanging along a little bit. Anderneck, you would actually probably even it would probably cross your mind at one point that like Rack's stealth ability is of questionable nature. Like you'd be hearing him like you see him kind of like doing the little like tippy toe sneak kind of deal. And as he's trying to like sneak along, you can just like hear his armor rattling a little bit, like clang 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 clang. I mean, I don't know that it would really be like I can't imagine that you would really necessarily think to a point of stopping him, but like you definitely take notice of it, I guess is what I'm trying to get across. I mean, he is wearing chainmail, right? Like, I mean, let's be realistic, right?
You know why she got like a dirty 20? It's because she's on the other side of Rack, so she's completely 100% hidden behind him. And everyone just leaves a minute card.
100% accurate. She is using Rack to hide.
Okay. Okay. So you guys are so the two of you are kind of making your march. What are the rest of you? What are the other two of you doing for the time being?
I'll be a little bit behind them, so that we're not like right on top of each other, but Uther would definitely be following and trying to be stealthy if that's what the rest of the group is doing. Well,
trying to be discreet.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good word.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
That's a 12 for a stealth check.
Okay, so yeah, so you see, so Uther starts to make his way out there as well. He's you know, he's trying to like quietly whistle to himself as he goes. He's like, as he's like walking along, maybe he probably catches himself like a little bit of the way through the tube. He's like, oh yeah, sure. Oh no, shh. All right. So yeah, okay. So you guys start baking, and then Old Man Nero.
Yeah, I guess he'll probably follow along in a similar way, but probably not quite as stealthy.
Okay, he'll just kind of strut.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
He knows.
Oh, that's fair. Okay. Let's kind of see what happens here. Okay. Sure. And then where are you headed to, Uther? Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit slower than the others, but you know, so we're not all quite exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, so you see, as you guys are progressing between the two, you notice that the half dragon that is the half dragon that is in that 5 foot circle, the one that's kind of like he's very much patrolling the patrolling kind of back and forth in the prison area there. You see, again, he's also doing the same thing, right? He's very much scanning. He's kind of trying to take he's trying to take kind of take count of what's going on. You see him every now and then. He's kind of like looking in some of the openings of the tents, kind of as the wind maybe blows. As the wind maybe blows like the flap open a little bit, he'll kind of peek inside and that sort of stuff. Just as he kind of looks over, and you guys would collectively feel like this guy is potentially looking right at you. He kind of pauses for a second and he looks, and then from the east you hear like these other half dragon things call out in a language. Do any of you speak Draconic?
I do.
Okay, so it doesn't.
I do.
Okay, so it doesn't sound like proper Draconic. Like it sounds like some sort of Draconic slang that you don't really understand. Like you get the odd word, right? But like you don't really get enough words to really put together what they're talking about. So they kind of so yeah, you see and as they yell over, as these guys yell over from the east, the guy who's walking back and forth in the prison camp like snaps his head over towards there and responds to them again in this very broken, very broken Draconic. At least as far as you can tell, it's broken Draconic. Like again, you're picking up the odd word here and there, but you're really quite confused on what it is they're saying.
Hey, guys. Can any of you understand what the hell they're saying at all?
I kind of understand the language, but not necessarily what he's saying. I mean, it's like Draconic, but it just, I don't know, it's like they have their own Draconic or something.
Okay. Yeah, the words that you can make out are like one of the words that keeps coming up is queen, right? Like one of the words that you can actually that you do follow. You hear the word queen like come up numerous times in the exchange. Queen this, queen that, something queen.
Yeah, there seems to be some sort of a queen, which is probably a bad thing for us.
That doesn't sound good at all. What are we doing? What's our game plan here? Which way are we going?
Did we just start checking, like each of us split up and check different tents and, I don't know, maybe see if we can get the prisoners to join us?
I mean, if we let some of them loose, it'll help with the confusion and chaos. That's not a bad plan. I don't think we should split up, though.
I
mean, last time we split up, half of us almost died, right?
that's true, and I'm just happy that you said it wasn't a bad plan, so I'm willing to stick with you. You know, check tent.
We can clear the tents, and then after they're free, set the tents on fire to cause a distraction.
That sounds great, Rack.
Okay. You also have this one that's slowly starting to catch. So let's just see how caught this thing is. Okay. So yeah, as you guys are talking about it, you're starting to fuck me. You're starting to see like some like as you guys kind of look back towards the tent where you guys came from, that one with that green, the kind of the green 10-foot circle around it. You're starting to see like visible flame licking at the bottoms of the canvas there. Like the canvas at this point is starting to catch. There's actually a reasonable amount of smoke starting to come out of the opening of the tent, both openings, not the opening that you cut, as well as the opening as well as the normal opening of this thing. It's starting to look it's starting to look like noticeable that something is not going correctly within that tent.
We should probably hurry this up.
Rack's gonna cut the back of the tent that he's standing in front of and peek inside.
Okay. Okay. Inside of that tent, you see, kind of chained to the center support. Like it's very much like a circus tent, right? Like one big post kind of coming up through the middle, and then maybe a couple smaller ones around the outside to kind of give it a little more structure. But off of the support, off of the chain and the support that's in the middle of this tent, you see numerous chains kind of fastened to it with either like iron banding or even kind of like staked into the ground with these big kind of almost looks like railway spikes. And then the chain itself is affixed to that. Some of the railway spikes are it's not so much a spike as it is like a U, and then they've just kind of like hammered it deep into the ground with this through one of the links of the chain. The chain leads off to various braces and manacles. Some around the ankles. A lot of them are just kind of around the necks of various people. In here, you see a bunch of within this tent. You see a bunch of prisoners that at one point appear to have been citizens greenest. So there's lots of folks who have been taken, again, all different races. There's humans there, there's elves, half elves, dwarves, you name it. Like there's no rhyme or reason to kind of what's going on there. You see a lot of them kind of like audibly gasp and start like backing away from this cut that's happening in the thing. You can in the tent, sorry, you can start to hear like the chains are starting to rattle and stuff like that.
Annernek's definitely gonna sneak in as the hole is large enough for her tiny body, and immediately do a whole shh, 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 and make her way to the closest chains to see if there's any way she can unlock them.
As you are trying to calm them down, make me a persuasion check.
That would be a 12.
Okay. So yeah, so you come in like as the hole is getting progressively larger, like as Rack is slowly cutting this slit in this in the tent. As soon as the hole is big enough that you think you can slide your body through, you make your way inside. Again, you're noticing these people again. A lot of them are now starting to move to the west, to kind of the southeast. Directions are hard, fam. So as you see these people, like you're starting to all the people who are inside of this tent are now starting to move to the southeast. They're starting to back away from you again. Like the ringing of chains and the clanging of chains is starting to get noticeable. As you come in, you're like, oh, shh, shh. Like we're friends. We're friends. We helped in the siege. Like we defended Greenest. It's okay. We saved the mill, and everything's gonna be okay. And you see that probably 2/3 of them or so, 70% of them even, you can see them kind of like stop for a second and then slowly kind of relax with a very cautious reluctance. Like they've definitely not accepted you yet, but they're more inclined to like they're starting to calm down some.
Rack is going to motion towards Uther and Nero during this time and get them to and start pointing towards the inside of the tent to try to cue them.
Oh shit, yes.
Sure. Yep. Okay.
Okay. So as you guys go inside, you see the same thing that Anernek sees. Like you see again, right in the center of this tent is like this large tree, basically, like this really large trunk of a tree that's been kind of forcefully stood in the middle of this tent. Then around the outside in various places, there's not too many of them, maybe 5 much skinnier tree trunks, like really juvenile trees that have kind of been cut down and again used to stand, just to stretch the canvas and make it into a tent. And then again, within the center of this around the center trunk is just like this iron banding, and then from the iron band, fairly thick, and again with some kind of train spike thickness, like hooks. They've kind of been driven into the ground to help provide more space for prisoners. And you see a bunch of them that are now, they're all kind of, they're all manacled in some sense, whether it's again like a collar or wrist or ankle restraints.
Rax, since he just climbed in the tent, he's going to be looking at any way where he can disconnect a lot of these chains and unhook these people. Is there anything that we notice about any of these chains where areas that could be disconnected or broken apart, possibly?
Make a perception check.
14.
Okay. Yeah, you think that you kind of look at it and you think that I mean, the easiest and quickest way to get a bunch of people free of this, really, you kind of have a few options. You can kind of think to yourself, you realize that you have a few options. I mean, there's like the hooks that are driven into the ground. Those are going to take a bit of like hefting to try and pull up. These have these have not just been put here by hand. Like these have been driven in with some kind of a hammer of some description. So I mean, it's going to take a fairly reasonable feat of strength in order to pull those guys out. The ones that are attached to this main stand in the center of the tent, however, you kind of think that you have a few options there. I mean, you can try and like hack at them and just break a link in the chain kind of thing. You can again try and brute force it apart kind of thing, either via the collar or trying to separate it somehow by breaking a link or where it's fastened to the banding in that. Or your third option is you reasonably deduce that you could possibly destroy the main stand there. Therefore, like in a result of that would be collapsing the tent, but then you can at the same time try to get you'd be able just to kind of remove some of the bands if you did enough damage to the wood kind of thing. And in order to do that, I mean, one, like I said, the tent would collapse. And two, when that happened, like you wouldn't necessarily get people independent of each other, but instead you'd kind of have like there's kind of groups of people on these bands, right? So one of them, like there's no real rhyme or reason to it. Maybe one of them has like 4, and then another one maybe has 6 people, and they're all just kind of fastened to this band. The chains, I should say, are fastened to the band. Blah blah blah.
While he's looking at that, Anna's gonna attempt to talk to one of the people.
Okay.
Are all these tents filled with prisoners just like you?
You kind of talk to a middle-aged elf there, and he's very timid. He's very scared of you, but he's one of the ones who kind of calmed down when you did your when you kind of came in and was like, hey, you know, relax, kind of thing. He kind of looks at you and he says, you know, honestly, I could only venture a guess as to say yes. I was pretty I was like we weren't exactly treated the kindest on our way in here. It was really kind of you know, we were marched in here and just shackled to these posts, and I mean, I don't know what they intend for us, but I can only imagine it's not good. But you know, it'd be a fair assumption that, you know, that these tents would either hold some kind of prisoners or something like that.
You guys didn't happen to see a monk, did you?
Says, I mean, I've heard. He says, I don't really know. He says, I've heard some wails coming. Some very pained wails. They were coming even as a bunch of us were being brought in. Now, I mean, I wasn't necessarily the first person in here, at least as far as I can tell, because when I was coming in here, there was, like I said, some significant wailing coming from the east of here. He's like, and by east he means like still within the coulee, but you know, from where he is, it is to the east.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. We're trying to get you guys out of these chains. Rack, how are you doing?
There's only a couple different things that we can do.
Out of character and just curiosity, a lot of these have like a lock, right? That would need keys, obviously.
Yes. So the locks are found at the person end, if you will, and then as you work your way down the chain and to where like the banding is that goes around that either has the U through it or the banding that is sitting around that main mast kind of thing. Those are more forged in place kind of thing, as opposed to like connected, if that makes any sense.
So they were like welded together, I guess? Or...
Yeah, except I mean, welding wouldn't really be a thing back in that day, but yeah, like they're more as you get to the middle, it's more one piece. Like the movable parts are at the person end.
Does anyone know where the guard that had the keys are? We need to find the guard that had the keys. That may be one of our only best op.
No. What? I mean, we could go start beating the shit out of people. I guess that might work.
I meant ask the villagers.
Oh.
Rack. How about maybe give this a shot? And as she says that, she's gonna reach over and grab his arm and give him enhance ability on strength.
Okay. So Rack, you kind of Anderneck reaches over and puts her hands on your arm and says, "Why don't you give this a little bit of a shot?" And you kind of see her hands just glow a very dull green, just like a little wow kind of thing, where it starts off as nothing, and then this green glow comes out of from the palms of her hands and kind of resonates up your arm a little bit. You feel as this whole thing happens, you can kind of feel this surge going up your one arm that it just like your muscles have never really felt that fresh in a long time. Like you feel like you could really do some damage or lift a lot of heavy things.
Just out of character, I'm not exactly sure what exactly. I mean, I guess I'm a little like brain dead here. I'm confused on what you want Rack to do. I know he's probably said it. Everyone's probably gave me contextual clues, but I'm missing it.
I guess basically I was trying to indicate he's the key. Use your strength, brute force, rack smash. That's where I was going with it. If he wanted to do that, either way.
Should try to cut all the chains loose. I mean, I can do that. Hey, Rack's gonna give it a shot. Then Rack's gonna take a hack at one of the chains. Then.
Okay. Go ahead and so yeah, I guess like what are you like are you just going to attempt to like hit the chains and like try and break them, or are you going to try to forcefully kind of like pry one of the collars or one of the manacles open, or what's the plan?
Rack is actually going to try to near one of the ends that's connected to the logs. He's going to try to like one of like towards actually better yet, he's going to on one of the human ends on one of the chains. Like, and we're going to say human ends again, or people ends. He's going to try to take a hack at the chain, like closest to them, so try to free them out, but obviously not chop into them. Like he's going to try to do it precisionally, the best he can.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean like go ahead and just make an attack roll, like just roll as though you're rolling to hit something, and just like drop it anywhere really. Like you should like it just I mean honestly, if you want to use an appropriate armor class, like Like drop it on like Nero. So, armor class 10. Like that's figure that's pretty usable. Make an attack against Nero. Like we're just the reason why you're making an attack against Nero is because we're using his armor class, like using his armor class for the chains.
Okay, I don't have the best zoom on this. I'm sorry. My mouse works.
You're fine. You can drop it on him in the combat tracker if you want as well.
Oh, that is a good idea. Fantastic. I will do it that way.
Mm-hmm. And again, the reason why we're using Nero is because armor class 10. That's the only reason. Fucking don't at me. Okay.
24?
Perfect.
Not
Perfect. So then don't drop this on Nero, but just go ahead and roll like a damage die. Roll like your normal roll your normal damage die. There you go.
that would be a 10.
Okay. So yeah, you bring your axe down and you hack into these chains. It's you hear like a again a bit of a clang as your axe makes connect, like metal on metal contact kind of thing. As you bring your axe back up, you can see that you've actually managed to put a good sever into this chain. It's not quite all the way through, but it is it is showing a very good, a very heavy amount of damage has been done to the chain that is holding this captive.
As he's hitting it, I think I'd like to move towards the actual entrance to the tent, just so that I can maybe hear if someone is approaching. Maybe see what I can do. I don't want to look out, but see if I can hear any commotion around the tent.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. So you'd kind of be. He's doing it. You'd kind of be like, yeah, more or less over here. Boom. Okay. Yeah, and then you're just like you're actively listening for people coming towards you.
Yeah, for see if any guards were coming towards us, or people outside of the tent are milling around, just so we maybe have a second's notice before someone comes flying in with an axe.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So you're kind of like actively listening to try to assess what's going on outside of the tent.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Make a perception check.
That's a natural 20.
Wow, that's pretty good, I hear. Okay. So yeah, so you kind of stand closer towards the entrance. You hear again, you're hearing lots of commotion and lots of yelling in common and in Draconic about there's lots of conversation kind of going on about what's going on up at the forward guard tower. What's happening? What's happening? Are we under assault? What about the prisoners? And then there's talk about again there's talk about the Dragon Queen. You hear that phrase. The mother of dragons will not be happy with this, and you also hear two other names. You hear three other names. You hear yes. You hear the name Mondath, Mondath. You hear the name Rezmir, Rezmir, and you hear Cyanwrath, Cyanwrath. You hear the three of thank you. You hear those three names kind of getting tossed around from time to time, and in various kind of to the effect of these people aren't going to be happy with what's going on. We need to figure out what's going on. Again, the mother of dragons won't be happy. The dragon queen won't be happy, etc., etc.
Uther, are we good? Does it seem like there's anybody headed our direction? Should we keep going?
I think we're safe to keep going. They're talking about some, like, Mondath and Cyanrath and Resnar. It must be like the heads of the camp, and something about the Queen of Dragons. She doesn't sound very nice. Maybe not a friendly trait. But it doesn't sound like they're talking about this tent, just weird things going on.
Do you want Rack to take another swing at the chain?
Rack's gonna do what Rack's gonna do.
Alrighty then. Rack's gonna take another swing at the chain then. And then 18.
Yeah, and then again, just roll damage, just not on Nero.
And 8.
Okay, so yeah, you managed to sever through the first chain. So again, that was the elf that Sheila was talking to, and you can kind of see him. He still has this collar around his neck, but it's no longer attached to the center mast. He's like, oh, thank God. He says, thank you. I'm in your debt in a big way.
Just curiously, how many? Is it just like a random number? Does it not matter? Or how many?
I can tell you how many there are. Give me one sec. There are a total of 13 people in this tent.
Rack stretches his arms a little bit and then begins to start hacking at the next one. And if you would like me to roll, I can roll for all those if you want.
Give me one sec. Just gonna see. Oh, come here. Okay. One. Okay. So you get just to kind of fast track this and make this, not just all about you swinging on chains endlessly. You managed to get 3 more people. You managed to get 3 more of them disconnected. So now there's 4. Now there's 4 of them. The 4 of them are kind of huddled off to one side of the tent there. And as that is happening, Uther, give me another perception check.
16.
Okay, you start to hear the sounds of again that broken draconic that you heard before. Get this out of here. The broken draconic that you heard before, you're starting to hear it again, and it is starting to slowly get louder, as though someone is coming towards you.
Hold on. I think someone is coming this way. It's getting louder as they're talking.
Rack holds up on the axe and then just continues to observe. Or starts to observe, rather.
Annerneck would move the opposite side of Uther to the other side of the flap.
Okay.
I will wait.
Can I, say, prepare a reaction and just have my quarterstaff ready to smack someone if they open the door or come in?
Yeah, absolutely. So okay. So you're like, as soon as someone comes through that door, you would like to take a swing.
Yes.
Sounds good to me. Yeah. Anybody else want to ready something?
Rack is going to grab one of his smaller hand axes and have it ready in kind of a throwing position.
Yeah, Anna's definitely gonna have her tiny warhammer out.
Okay. So really quick, while we deal with that, I'm going to quickly zip over to Draxon, who's been patiently waiting in the wings here. So,
you would say that just as he said, "Ping me, I'll be right back."
oh really? Oh shit, sorry. Okay, no, never mind then. Forget I said anything. We continue.
I just totally pinged him. I'm sorry.
Well, if he gets here, we'll shift it. Oh, could it be? Draxon, is that you?
I am here.
Okay, cool. So over the course of this happening, I mean, it's taken them a couple minutes to kind of get here, start hacking at people's chains and that sort of stuff. And so where we left you last time is you were fighting on top of the guard tower, the forward guard tower. There's a smattering of kobolds, and then kind of following them were like cultists and mercenaries and shit like that. And they were slowly making their way towards you on the tower. Now, what you had done is you'd taken off towards the north and flown up over the walls of the kind of coulee there. So you are significantly higher up than the rest of them. And I'm just wondering, during this kind of, I don't know, probably 5 to 10 minutes of them kind of setting this tent on fire and slowly moving over to another tent and then making their way inside of that tent and talking and calming down the people that are there. What are you doing during this whole situation?
I am staying close enough to whoever's chasing me to where they will keep chasing me, but far enough away to where they hopefully can't get me.
Okay.
Whether that means walking or flying, doing whatever it takes.
Sorry, and kind of what, like, you want to keep them engaged with you is what I'm getting.
Yes, I want them to keep focusing on me and not realize that I'm just a decoy and leading them away.
Okay. So, I mean, so it's okay. So it sounds like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like what you're doing is, I mean, it's meaningful, but it's not really meaningful in the sense of like, we need to be really strictly tracking your movements right now. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Then let us leave it at that, and I will continue with the others. Okay. Others. So you guys are prepared your shit. You guys are good to go. Okay. You know what? We'll say, because Uther is the one who is really on watch here. Uther, give me another perception check.
That's an 8.
Okay. No problem. You like you kind of pause, and you get the group to pause with your like your like, oh hey, I hear someone coming kind of thing. So the group pauses, and you stand there and like with your weapons ready and all that kind of stuff. And you guys kind of stand there and you wait. And it feels like forever, even though it's only probably about a minute or so that passes. And like, you still hear the commotion going on outside, but you don't hear anything. Like the broken draconic doesn't get any louder, In fact, the broken draconic has at this point has gone away. Like it's gone. You don't hear anything in terms of that particular sound. Like you still hear, you still hear, again the sounds of commotion, kind of like rattling around throughout the camp.
It's weird. It's like they've gone away. I mean, there's still people milling about, but I don't hear them talking anymore. Does anyone else hear them, or should we take a look out the tent?
I will say that Annerneck is busy for the moment. She listened in the Discord, and she was the only other person that was near the thing, the end,
Well, then
the entrance of the tent. My bad.
Nope, you're good. I will just slightly peek out the flap then.
Stealth, please.
That's a dirty 20.
Okay. Perception.
That is a 16.
Okay. So you peek your way out, and you notice, you see the dragon claw dude. So this guy is, this guy is. How do I even explain it? Like he is humanoid. Like he is a human, but he is wearing he's wearing like dragon scale armor kind of thing, or like scale mail, I suppose. Although actually no, he's not even, like, the thing is he's not even wearing scale mail. He's wearing leather armor, but it like is kind of stamped and made to look like dragon scales, like just like head to toe. This guy looks quite formidable as an opponent. He kind of walks around with a scimitar hanging around his waist on his belt there. You see that the scimitar is no longer on his belt and it's actually in his hand. And you can make out that he's standing there and he's looking he is looking around within the prisoner camps, and he's looking around within the prisoner camps, and he's like at alert.
So there's one of them who's close to us, but he seems to just be looking for something. It's not like he's heading right towards our tent. Maybe just stay quiet for a little bit. We can take a look and see if he's gone away.
Or should we lure him in?
How do we do that?
Rack, smack those chains.
This is out of character. Nero, didn't you have something with like a? Never mind. Rack's just gonna smack the chain really, really hard, like he's attempting to break one of the guys.
Okay, go ahead. Do your thing.
Uh, 13.
That hits. Roll some damage.
That'll be a 7.
Okay. And at this point you're kind of intentionally trying to make it loud, right?
Yeah, like I hit it like as if with like almost all of Rack's strength, like bring it all the way to the top, exaggerated, cut.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so again, you like clang into the chain, and Uther, you see the Dragonclaw like perk up, and you see the Dragon Claw perk up and start making his way over towards you guys again. And he is, he has his sword out in front of him, and he's taking very slow, calculated steps as he's like looking from side to side. And he kind of is looking down in between the tents and that sort of stuff.
I'll quietly say, okay, he's coming this way. He probably doesn't expect outside people here, so maybe hit it one more time. It's up to you.
Rack is gonna take another swing, and just even more exaggerated from last time. It almost sounds like as if somebody's got like a forge and they're hammering like a new weapon.
Mm-hmm.
With a 23 non-natural.
Yeah, roll damage.
With a great 4.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, he continues to make his way towards. Again, you can kind of see you can kind of see that like this. You see the flap of the tent kind of open, and this human like kind of stand there and like open it up, and he sees you as you see him. Like I would probably have given you a surprise round, except I mean, like with all the noise and that, like he's not just walking in here all nimbly bimbly, right? Like he's actually he's on alert for sure. Like, so I'm gonna say that we can roll initiative, and the only person on the enemy side is going to be Dragonclaw 1. Dragonclaw 2 and 3, don't worry about those because they're not involved right now.
7.
4.
13.
6.
Okay.
Oof.
Well, he's going first. So he kind of peeks in. And he can now see, like he said, he sees the two. He has one hand on the one hand on the flap of the tent, and he's gonna take a 5-foot step inside, and he is going to make his attack towards Uther. So again, he has a scimitar. He is okay. So he's going to make an attack with his scimitar against Uther for 23 to hit.
Yeah, that would hit.
Dealing 5 points of damage. And then he's going to make a second attack against Uther with an 18 to hit.
That would also hit.
Okay, so because of that, he gets that and take 11 points of damage for the second swing.
Whew. I'm not looking so hot.
Okay, and that is him. Rack, it is your turn.
Sorry. Let me do that, whatever I just did. So I guess, how long ago, just a quick question for anybody who knows, how long ago did we rest exactly? I forget.
It was earlier this morning. I'm assuming we're probably mid-afternoon by now.
Okay. Well, I meant like since our last combat, because I can't remember if we when we rested. So I want to make sure I still have like action surge and stuff available.
I do not believe we had a long rest since we started battling in this game.
What it's on short or long. So if we had a short rest, then that's fantastic.
I think we took a short rest in that tent at the end to make a plan.
That's right. I believe we did. Okay. In that case, first thing that Rack's gonna do is toss a hand axe at this creature.
Okay.
And you said it was Dragon Claw number 1, correct?
Correct. I think I can actually just get rid of them, just like this. Ta-da!
Well, the only reason is, like I said, I can't, for some odd reason, I can't zoom in on this map, so I can't see where Rack is. So Rack would actually make his way over to this guy.
Mhm.
I don't know why it's so tiny for me, and I don't know why I can't zoom in on it. But oh, I think I found it. Yeah, that works. Fantastic. And actually, Rax, instead of throwing a hand axe, he's going to take a swing with this battle axe at him.
That makes sense, yeah.
And 14.
That hits.
With 8 damage.
Okay. I mean, he's not looking happy about it. You're gonna like come at him with this battle axe. And just, you know, this full power of this angry bull running at him, axe in tow, absolutely smashing into him with this blade. He's looking quite rough.
And then he's going to pull his Morning Star from the other arm and take a swing at him.
Yep.
With an 8.
An 8 misses.
And then for Action Surge, I'm going to use one of my combat superiority guys, if I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use Rally.
Okay, please let us know what does Rally do?
Sure, just 1 second. Okay, so Rally, it says, on your turn, you can use this as a bonus action. You spend 1 superiority die to bolster the resolve of one of your companions. When you do so, you choose a friendly creature who can see or hear you. That creature gains temporary hit points equal to the superiority dice. Superiority dice. Oh, wait, it just like, okay. Superiority dice plus your charisma modifier. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Okay.
Who you buffing?
I am most certainly going to give temporary hit points to Uther.
Okay.
It says 6. I don't know. I don't.
So,
Yeah,
plus
I don't-
sorry,
yeah,
it's supposed to be plus your level? Okay.
It's the charisma modifier, so I don't really have one. So he's going to get 3 or 6 temporary hit points.
Sounds great.
And then that'll be the end of Rack's turn. Sorry. Didn't mean to make that super complicated.
No, you're fine, man. You're all good.
Oh, that was inspiring, Rack. Thank you.
You just gave him like a slap on the ass. You're like, go get him.
I like it. It's canon.
Yeah, good game. You know, oh, I feel so inspired.
It's when he made the swing with the Morning Star. It just barely like pipped him, and then he was like, "Good game, keep going."
Yeah, Coach Rack, right? Like the old, college hoodie and basketball shorts and pair of like A6 or something.
With the whistle around
With the
neck.
whistle, yeah, the whistle on the string, straight up. That's exactly what I'm picturing.
Wait, Rack's a gym teacher now? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, hell yeah, he is.
All right, sorry. And Rack will end his turn there.
No worries. It's canon now, man. It's canon. Old man Nero, it's your turn.
Nero's going to try a Witch Bolt.
Okay.
See how this goes. 22.
That is a connection, yeah. Tell me about Witch Bolt.
So, Witch Bolt is a beam of crackling blue energy that lances out towards a creature, forming a sustained arc of lightning between you and the target. So, I hit him for, I think, so this is the confusing thing about Warlock spells. It's 1d12 of lightning damage, but it also says that if I cast a spell slot 2nd level or higher, the initial damage increases by 1d12 for each slot.
Okay,
I think I have 2nd level slots whether I like it or not. So I think it's supposed to be 2d12. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So it's a 1st level spell. So the lowest, so you can cast it with 1st level or 2nd level.
I don't think I think I only have, like, whenever I get spell slots, I just have those spell slots.
Oh, that's that weird Warlock thing.
Yeah, Warlocks, they have 2 spell slots of whatever the level of spell slots they have for that level, and all their spells are cast at that level, whether they want to or not.
Okay, so we'll see how this goes with Fantasy Grounds. Because it's only doing 1, so I'm going to do a 2nd one.
Yeah.
I can help you fix that after the game.
Okay, so that's 9 damage total.
Okay. Well, that is enough. So you see this like burst of blue lightning come out of your hand and kind of and beam its way over into this guy's chest. He convulses a little bit as he gets fried from the inside out, and he falls to the ground dead.
Quick, pull him in.
Yeah, he is currently in the doorway of the tent.
On hearing that, I will grab him and pull him into the tent.
Sure, man. Yeah, like, I mean, you can make me a strength check and just don't roll like shit.
11?
Yeah, it's good. That's good enough to drag him. Like, I mean, you've kind of got some drag marks behind you, but I mean, whatever. It's not that noticeable.
And then once we have him in and kind of fix the flap so it doesn't necessarily look like we just, shot lightning at a guy standing
So it doesn't
in.
look like you just dragged a guy in. Yeah.
Yeah, make it look semi-reasonable. Can I check his body to see if he's got like any, notes on him, or check out his armor or any of that sort of stuff?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, you can check him out. So his armor is, it has all the stats of normal leather armor. It just looks really nice. Like the armor is very nicely put together. Like it looks like it's all stamped and made to look as though it's dragon scales, even though it's leather armor. He wields a scimitar. You find a ring of keys hanging off of his belt. Like a very large loop of a very large iron ring, I should say. A very large iron ring with numerous iron keys hanging off of it. Again, his chest, his armor has a big scorch mark on it where the witch bolt connected with him.
I guess I'll grab the keys and maybe give them to Rack. I don't know, maybe... Do we have any... Oh, I guess he's dead, so we don't need to tie him up.
I mean, you could tie him up if you wanted to.
Are there any markings or symbolism or any indicators on his armor that I might recognize?
Just remind me again. Sorry, why would you recognize these things?
I don't know.
Okay, no, that's fair. Okay. I was just wondering if there was like a specific reason.
No,
you're
like if there's
okay.
like a holy symbol, or if there's a faction symbol, or something I might recognize on this.
And I want to say during this time, Rack is like fumbling through the keys, trying them on all the people's locks to see which ones work and which ones don't, to try to see if it'll let people loose.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, through a bunch of fumbling, I guess the question is how long do you guys really want to let Rack fumble with these keys and shit?
Is this like a big guy in a little coat scenario where he just can't fumble with the keys?
No, I just want to know. Like, I mean, if like you only plan on fumbling for like 30 seconds, you're not going to get very far. If you fumble for 3 hours, I mean, obviously you're going to get all of them. But like, at what point do you want to kind of be like, we got to move on or something like that, and then I'll circle back to Anner next thing afterwards.
Hey, Rack, maybe give him the keys, and she's gonna point to the elf guy that's already out of chain.
Sorry. Rack's gonna just nod and just hand the elf guy the keys and just walk away sadly.
Oh, you just
damn,
picture...
dude. I feel bad
now. And Rack's gonna, I guess, start maybe looking, maybe trying to keep watch or something now.
He just kind of Rack just kind of lets out one like real disheveled blow of the whistle, like tweet, and then just like walks away.
Yeah, he just lets out a big huge sigh and just kind of nods and just hands the keys to the elf guy, and then just begins to make his way to the front of the tent and let Annerneck do her thing. Oh. He gets it. He understands.
That's so funny. Oh, man.
Sorry, buddy.
I'm dying. Okay. Yeah. So you there's no real symbols that you would necessarily understand. Again,
okay.
there's this recurring theme that you've seen in a few other places of like what appears to be like a 5-headed dragon.
Okay.
That symbology shows up again, but nothing outstanding other than that.
Okay, so the 5-headed symbol. Got it.
Yeah, but and you've seen this symbol numerous places throughout this camp.
Yeah, right. I guess that, yeah.
Oh, love it.
I know, right? He gave me like solid sad Ludo vibes right there.
Fucking yeah, I love it. So yeah, so you guys are in this tent, and you have the elf guy is starting to try and figure out the keys and get people free and stuff like that. What are you guys planning on doing?
So this dragon sworn guy, is he a human or is he partially a dragon? Or like when we check his armor, would one of us kind of look like him if we put the armor on, I guess is what I'm asking.
What are you folks? I mean, Rack is obviously a minotaur. Annerneck is an elf, or a half elf, sorry, but it doesn't look it. Sorry, I take that back. Old Man Nero is fucking ancient and human as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah.
I believe. And then Uther, you are?
I am a younger human.
You would probably fit the bill.
Okay.
The guy is human for as far as you can tell.
Okay, so I'll take his armor and put it on. and kind
Okay.
of look like him. I won't take his scimitars, but at least from a distance it would look like, and then I'll kind of wander out, I guess, and just check on the other prisoner tents. It's kind of what my thoughts are, is I want to just go out so that if anyone were looking over, they'd be like, oh, okay, he just went in and maybe there was an odd flash of light, but at least now he's back outside again.
Okay. So you're walking out of this tent, like you're.
I want to try and imitate him, I guess.
Okay. So I guess like the gist of the situation is you're kind of walking out like you own the place, kind of thing.
Yeah, much as
Okay.
Uther can.
Yeah. Well, make a performance check.
I was afraid of that. That'd be a 4.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Okay. So you strut your way out there. What's the rest of the party doing? Well, Uther kind of struts his way out, or is there a conversation, or?
Nero's the one that we could speak to in the brain.
Yeah.
Correct.
Andernek's just gonna sit there and try to assist the elf guy in any way that she can
Okay.
while we wait to hear from Uther.
Rack is gonna be peeking out the tent, kind of watching Uther and just seeing if if he's making his way to the next tent or what he's doing, in case he might get caught out and he might need some help.
And Nero's gonna follow Uther out the door and go looking through one of the other tents, but one of the nearby tents.
Okay. Sure, you go to there, you guys go to there. Sounds good. Okay. So yeah, you both of those tents that you guys are now looking in both look fairly similar to both of these look fairly similar to the one you just came from. Just more prisoners shackled in various manners.
Do any of them seem to stick out as if they would be a monk who, looks like he could kick people's butt?
No.
Okay. Yes, after checking that one, I'm gonna go back just to tell Rack and Anarnek that, more of the same in that other big tent at least.
Okay.
Is the coast clear?
Can we come out or should we stay here while you check the other?
Why don't you work on those locks and I'll check the last tent to the north. It looks like Nero's heading south.
Nero's already wandered off to go check the other tent.
I love it.
Okay.
So I have a question. As these people are getting free, are they doing anything specific, or are they just kind of waiting in the tent and like rubbing their wrists and their necks and whatnot for after being free? Or
you can hear like a bunch of you hear a bunch like they're starting to have a bit of a like there's a bunch of conversation happening. They're all kind of like looking to one another for kind of what should we do? What should we do? How should we do? Like, how should we go about this? Blah 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 blah. And there's a couple folks who are trying to. There's a couple folks who are trying to kind of take charge a little bit and be like, all right, you know what, guys, like we need to we need to group up. I don't know what we're gonna do here. Like there's a lot of confusion at the moment.
Rack's gonna look at them and be like, and he's gonna look at them and say,
Is there anywhere where they have armaments so you can arm yourselves?
They're like the general consensus you get from them is like they're not sure. Like I mean they were really kind of brought in as brought in as prisoners, and they weren't given a ton of they weren't exactly
Like as
given
if
a
they were
grand
wearing,
tour.
like as if they were all wearing blindfolds on their way in.
Not so much blindfolds, but I mean they came in in the early hours of the morning, right? Like they came in the early hours of the morning. They were exhausted from being part of that siege. Yeah, like they were exhausted from being part of the siege and then kind of being forced to march to this camp. They'd be running on no sleep. Like they'd be generally delusional and stressed out. And the last thing that they'd be really looking for is like, hey, gee, I wonder where they keep the weapons.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I understand. All right, that's all. Rack's gonna again help in any way he can, but still peeking back to the exit of the tent to see where Uther's at and to see if he can spot the old man waddling off to the next tent. Or just keeping a general eye. Yes, I said waddling. Sorry.
Well, waddling's good.
Oof. I don't think Nero waddles.
What would you call it?
It's whatever it is not a waddle.
A scooch?
I could do scooting, sure.
I was gonna say waddling, scooching, or skedaddling. Sorry.
Hey,
didn't mean to break the floor.
what's going on?
So you've made your way down to that tent towards the bottom there. You open up you kind of like peer your way into the tent. You see that like the tent that you're looking at right now is again very similar. This one kind of again is like a mix of captive humans, and then there's also there also seems to be like some pens of some like chickens, and there'd be like a goat or something tied up there as well.
No monks, I assume.
I would let you know if there was something that was monk like.
All right, I'll probably head back to the old tent.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, were all the chickens also lashed to the wall?
No, they're in cages and that sort of stuff.
Chickens. Didn't find any. There's no monks in there, just more prisoners. I think we need to look further up.
Do you guys see anything in this northern tent at all? Anything out of, beyond prisoners and run-of-the-mill folk?
No.
Okay. Then, once taking stock of that, Uther's gonna kind of wander out to where the guy had been keeping guard and just look around and see if he can see, any of the other, like, Dragonsworn guys or Dragonclaw guys that are out and about. Assess, like, what's going on around and if anyone else noticed, seems to be suspicious of this area.
You see, there's still two more Dragonclaw guys. So again, they're humanoids. They kind of separated from before. They are now walking. They're they're kind of like staying close to this main tent, but they are more separated. Again, you can see them constantly scanning. They kind of scan over towards you, towards like your direction, and they really kind of like see the armor in that, and they just keep on looking.
Okay. I will kind of nod to them and, slowly meander my way back towards that tent to tell everybody that we haven't found, or that I haven't found the monk in the ones that I was looking at, and it doesn't seem to be a commotion anywhere else, so it seems like we're pretty safe as of right now.
Okay.
So should we walk with you as if you're the guard and we're prisoners, or what's our game plan here?
I hadn't thought that far ahead. I mean, I guess there's more tents further kind of southeast. It would definitely be a lot quicker if we could do it together. Or maybe if you guys want to sneak down to them and I can, go out and act like the guard and just be, there. So if anyone seems to hear anything, maybe they think it's just, me making noise as I'm walking around.
That sounds like a good plan.
Uther perks up a little bit and he's like, "Oh, I said a good thing. That's great."
I think she was just surprised, is all.
Unfortunately, so is Uther.
Anyway, it sounds good. Let's get going.
Internet just awkwardly looks between Old Man Nero and Uther like, what the fuck is going on?
Alright, so I'm gonna head back out to that kind of where he was hanging out then.
Okay.
Rack's gonna, I guess, start making his way out there and start heading towards the southern tents down there below.
Okay. And what is what? Oh, okay. Okay.
Wait, where'd Nero go? Nero just went with Uther?
Sorry, I'm getting confused again.
And I'm assuming all that green patch there is grass or.
Yeah, it's light brush, like nothing that's not traversable. We'll put it that way.
Okay. All the other prisoners were free in the other tent, correct? The one that we just left, or did we just not pay attention?
I mean, they were in the process of. I mean, in that first tent, yes. Like I would say by that point, a good majority of them would have been freed.
Okay. Just as a quick note, we forgot to tell them to free the others. That's out of character, or maybe actually in character.
We forgot to tell them to free all the other prisoners.
Well, we can only hope that they're doing that since we left them with the keys.
And then as, he just nods and then slowly starts to cut into the tent that he was at and start looking in this one.
Okay.
On the backside.
Okay. So then, Uther, are you just like hanging out there, or what are you doing? Because like these guys would have taken, assuming you guys were all moving relatively together, Uther, you definitely would have had a little more time to do whatever it was that you were gonna do.
Yeah, I'm just trying to impersonate the guard and look dragon claw like, kind of like he.
That's fine.
did.
Yeah. So you're okay. So you're just kind of chilling while they make their way across.
Yeah, maybe pacing a little bit and just making it look like I'm guarding prisoners.
Well, that makes sense. Okay. This tent that you guys find yourself looking in, this tent is actually full of full of supplies. So this is full of what appears to be people's belongings. Like there's piles of clothing, you know, and like linens and stuff like that, kind of tucked in one corner. There's a very small cache of mundane weaponry, kind of sitting there. Just some like general personal effects, just like stuff that people would have on them, maybe like some pipes or like a, you know, some glasses, some like reading glasses or of some description, some lenses, little trinkets and that sort of stuff.
Rack's gonna look at the rest of them and go,
Should we just go ahead and move to the next tent?
I guess so. We're looking for the monk guy, right?
And also, somebody should usher Uther over here so he doesn't stand out in the open for too long.
Nero, can you contact Uther, or are we too far away?
I could throw a chair up or something, but it's too far for the old noggin. I could do something far less subtle than that. Yeah.
I'll go get him. And um um she immediately transforms into a cat.
Okay. Yep.
as that's happening, Rack's gonna make his way to the next tent and scooch on over.
Okay.
Assuming like he's gonna reach the exit of each tent and he's gonna like open up, and if he doesn't see anybody, he's just gonna make his way to the next tent.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then Anornek as a cat, I mean, you'd really be able to like move a little quicker, a little more freely. Like nobody's really gonna necessarily second guess a cat. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah. So Uther, you see this cat kind of come up to you.
It's a familiar cat. It's a pattern you've seen before.
I actually have a druid ability to always be able to speak with animals, so. Internet, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. The fellows sent me to come get you to join up.
Okay. Sounds good.
And she's gonna start walking back, basically leading him where to.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, so Uther, you look in yours, and the one you're looking in right now is very similar to the first one you guys found yourself in. Like lots of people basically chained and stuff like that. Rack, as you look into yours, you see in this fairly modest sized tent, kind of strapped, bound to the middle, in somewhat of a almost like an X. So it's like they built like a big X out of wood there, and bound to this X, severely beaten and looking quite hurt is a human. And that is the only person that is in this tent.
Rack's gonna he's going to kind of slightly call out Anornek and to notify everybody else and point into the tent. and kind of like usher them in that direction. Probably in probably like in a low bit of Minotaur, because he knows that she'll be able to hear it. Because nobody else I know so far knows Minotaur,
Right.
including the people.
It's fair.
In hearing the Minotaur language, her ears perk up, and she's gonna meow at Uther and basically translate to him everything that was.
Okay.
I will whisper to Nero that Rack found something. It's like a big game of telephone in multiple languages.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Nero. At the end of it, you hear Uther tell you that Rack has won the lottery.
Oh, good for him.
I just hear a lot of bring, 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 bring between the group.
Fucking lost in translation shit. Oh my god. Okay.
So, and then Rack's gonna, since he came through the back of the tent, he's gonna slowly start to enter the tent and see if this guy's this human, to see what's going on with this human. See if they're awake, if they're able to talk.
Oh, sorry.
So on.
Fucking Christ! It has him listed as a human. This guy's not human at all. This is a fucking elf. And even in the story, it says an elf. So why is it? Anyways, doesn't matter. Look. Share. Pudding. There he is. He doesn't look like this at all. But he would look like this if he had been basically stripped of all of his belongings and beaten to a pulp. He would look more like that. So yeah, so you look in and again, kind of like tied to like a cross, basically. This you see this elf that looks similar to this. You see a staff and like a pile of clothes off in the corner, as well as a bag, and you just see like the ground all around him is stained with blood, as the blood has soaked into the dirt around him. He has dried blood all over him. He's not looking like, he's kind of hanging there relatively limp. He works up a bit of strength and like raises his head to kind of look up as you guys enter into the tent.
Hopefully, I wasn't the first thing that he's seen.
You would be.
In that case, Rack's gonna step aside and let the others get past him.
Okay.
Anernek's gonna easily be able to maneuver between everybody, being a tiny cat. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, realistically, I mean, you could just walk in between people's legs. Like, it would be nothing for you.
pity. I'm sorry, that was horrible. My bad.
It's all good.
So, can I let this guy out, or?
But yeah, he's just kind of, he looks very weak. He's kind of he just kind of sees you and doesn't really say much as he's looking at you, and I would assume you're looking at him.
Anernek's going to ask Uther, is there any way we can find out what Draxon's doing? Do we know where he is? Do we know what's going on with him?
I don't know if we have any way of contacting him. I know. I mean, it seems like there's been a lot of commotion on that side of camp, but it's pretty far away. I couldn't even see it when I was standing out there of what was going on. About the best that I can do is make a big fog cloud, but that might draw more attention than.
So, can I ask the guy? I'm assuming we haven't like the name popped up on the card, but we don't know who this guy is.
No, you guys have no idea.
Hey, who? What the hell happened to you?
He kind of yeah, he just kind of like looks at you. He's like, he seems yeah, he just kind of looks at you like he's just kind of he's very unsure. He seems very disoriented. He says, "This is a says what?" He says, "Are you here to to beat me again?"
No. No, we're here looking for a guy. I don't suppose Leosin.
He kind of like perks up again. He's like, "You're who? Who are you with? Or who are you? Who are you?" That'd be what he's. Who are you?
I'm sorry, I left for a minute. Did we let him free? Did we like get him out, or is he able to be freed? I'm sorry, I missed all that.
He's not free yet.
Okay, is there any way that like Rack can maybe pry at some of his bonds and let him out, or while everybody else is talking?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can work at that. Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty.
You have yeah, like he's just kind of bound there with a bunch of ropes and that sort of stuff. As you as you guys cut him free, he just kind of like he just kind of like flops to the ground.
Can I try to grab him as he's falling?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can grab him. He's in no position to stop you.
And grabbing him. We came from Greenest. We were sent this way by Cascalon Escobar. He's to look for Leos and Erlenthar, and we're hoping that's you, because said that you might be able to help us with whatever this dragon cult is.
Okay. Yeah, he kind of like as you say as you kind of tell him about, who sent you and that sort of stuff, he kind of like perks up a little bit. He's like, "He sent you to rescue me." He says, says like there's more. Like I can learn more.
By getting the shit kicked out of you?
This is this. He's like, there's more. Like I'm sure I can do it. Yeah.
As I'm catching him, can I cast Healing Word on him?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, just go ahead and cast it, and
That'd be for 5 points.
I'll tack it onto him. Yeah.
Yeah, you look pretty beat up. I mean, good for you for trying to learn as much as you can about these guys, but we need you alive if we're gonna use any of the information you've learned.
Okay.
Rack kind of looks at him and he goes,
I don't care if this is your kink. Just tell us the information that we need to know.
and then Rack looks at him and goes,
What's going on here? What's with these cold people? Give us information.
Okay. He goes, so I'm just gonna summary a bunch of this shit. And there's a lot in here. So he kind of explains to you. He says, okay. So he says he kind of explains to you that like he's been researching the cult's history and recent activity. He explains. He says that in this even within this camp that there's 3 leaders. There's Resmir, which is a name that you heard before. There's also Cyanrath and the other one. Come on now.
Undeath?
That's him. Yeah, so he or her, I should say. He says that there's 3 leaders and that they're all very powerful. He says that he was caught basically by Resmir, as he had worked on infiltrating the cult and trying to study the cult itself and their actions and kind of figure out what their plans are. So he said that he kind of figured through his investigation, he kind of figured out that Greenest was going to be attacked a couple days before it actually was. So he had made his way out towards this camp, which they had set up to kind of use as a staging grounds to make their way in towards Greenest. He explains that he doesn't really know where the base camp, like where the actual like base is, although he has a couple ideas. He explains that his that like while he was kind of observing from up on top of the rock face there, like up on the higher level, that he was spotted and then subsequently captured by the cultists, and that they have been kind of beating him and torturing him and restricting food and water from him for the past few days. You kind of surmise that it's probably, I mean, it wouldn't take much to really, figure out that it's like, oh, well, this is probably just to try and, break his spirit kind of thing. So yeah, so you kind of get out of him that even though like it seems that like his mind and his willpower are still quite strong, and he's stubborn as all get out, his physical condition has been what has taken the worst of this torture. Like, I mean, really, it's what it is, right? The neglect of kind of, again, denying him food and water and stuff like that, and then just the physical beating that his body has taken. His physical form is not doing well. He continues to try and try and like argue with you a little bit, saying that he feels that he should stay and that there's more for him to learn. He again, his physical form does not look great in this situation. Yeah, he kind of he kind of gives you like the explanation of more or less what you've already figured out, right? Like the camp is kind of divided into 4 sections. So on the west side of that line that I drew on the major camp is kind of where the kobolds are. The kobolds are kind of used as workhorses. Slaves is a terrible word, but it's applicable. And then as you move further into the camp, you start getting into like the humans, of which there's also just been a bunch of mercenaries that they've hired just as like hired muscle kind of thing. Really, he also kind of explains to you that they are interested in Tiamat, which is who they refer to as the Dragon Queen. And now this would be, and he kind of like gives like just saying the name kind of jars a bunch of your memories a little bit towards who is Tiamat and what is Tiamat all about. Yeah. So that's really kind of like the synopsis. Oh, he also explains to you that again, that big tent there is where the 3 generals are, and that on top of that, there's also like also probably within that tent or not very far from it is like the honor guard, which would be like a fairly sizable elite force that is kind of used as like a bodyguard protection kind of thing.
This is all should help us. We wanted to get in and find you. And I'm just realizing it now, but we have like a few tents full of prisoners who are, they have the key and they freed themselves from the chains, but we're pretty deep into this camp and we're gonna need somebody to be able to lead them out of here. Would you know where there's arms if some of them wanted to fight with us, or any sort of weapons or armor or anything to help them, they don't just get slaughtered for running away from the prison?
Leeson says, well, he's like, I'm sure, like, I've seen numerous tents of arms. Like, each tent is kind of like each of the human tents. He says, so like each of the human tents kind of has like some amount of armaments within it. He says he's not overly familiar with like an armory, like a tent that would be used as like a concentrated armory. He says that there also could potentially be somewhere where they're holding like the personal effects of people that they have captured, which would be somewhere within these tents.
You said that there were some clothes in the tent. Do those clothes belong to this fellow?
In this tent? Yeah. So like again, there's a staff and some clothes and various other personal items.
Rack's gonna pick up his stuff and kind of bring it to him and set it near him and kind of like basically gesture like, here's your stuff.
Okay.
As Rack bends over to place the clothes on the ground, Internet's gonna jump up on his shoulder.
Okay.
If he allows it.
Rack has no objections. Also, when Rack stands back up, he's gonna say,
I think we've seen enough. I think we might need to get out of here. There's too many of us and too little. There's too little of us and too many of them.
Internet's gonna meow.
Okay. Sounds good.
Wait, I guess Uther would understand. I totally agree.
Yeah, Internet would seem to agree and definitely make a good point. Certainly are pretty deep into this camp and very much outnumbered.
And we need to find Draxon. She says to Uther.
Yeah, and we probably should find Draxon too, because he seems to get himself in trouble sometimes.
Rack's gonna look over at this monk and be like,
Did you see any other extra exits? Is there any other way out? Or is it just out the front?
He says, well, you could, there's potential if someone were to be, athletically inclined, that they could possibly make their way up like the sides or something like that. He said it wouldn't be terribly taxing. I mean, if he says that's like the guy was that's where I was. I was up on the outer edges there before. I was up on the outer edges before I got caught.
and then Rack's gonna nod to him and start making his way up the back of the tent.
Okay.
And towards the, I guess, the hill right there in the very back.
Internet's gonna make a comfortable position up on Rack's shoulder so she doesn't fall off.
Fair enough. So now, the question is: are you guys bringing the monk with you, or like what are you guys doing?
That's an oopsie on my bad. I forgot about. We're talking to him, and I'm like, who are you again? I forgot about. Sorry.
I mean, you guys can leave him. You can take him. You can ask him to come with you. You can ask him to stay. You can do whatever the fuck you guys want with him.
I'm just going where Rack went because I'm on his shoulder. I have no choice.
Sorry, I was just say since Uther has a hold of him, I'm gonna let Uther just.
Okay. Do you want to come with us, or is there a way that you could get the prisoners out? We've gotten them with the keys, but we really didn't think far enough ahead for an exit plan for everybody. Found a bunch of prisoners, decided to free them.
Okay. Yeah, you see, he kind of like shakily gets up and he like kind of stands. He's like he kind of like stands and starts slowly taking some labored steps. He's like, yes, no, it's fine. I'll try and ensure the others get out and try to gather a little more information if I can, and we'll he says I'm sure I'll be fine, and we'll meet you back in we'll meet you, I can meet you back in Greenest.
Is there anything we can do to help out? Seems like we're gonna go try and climb this wall, and I can make fog. I don't know if that would help, but we could fog up an area like 20 feet ish or so.
This is what I mean. like fogging the inside of this tent so they might not realize that I'm gone. Probably wouldn't be the worst idea, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah. As I'm leaving, I'll make sure to do that. Sneak out first, just to sure that they don't notice anything.
Sure. He says, very very well. He says, which way do you suggest I go? Because I don't really know where anything is at the moment.
And then probably sneak out the back, so the way that Rack cut in, and then I would point him towards the west, towards the big group of tents where all of those prisoners would.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he'll start. He will start going. He'll go to there. So yeah, you see him. He's like taking these very slow, like lethargic, kind of atrophied steps as he's making his way slowly across.
Right, and yes, they'll cast fog cloud inside of this tent.
Okay.
If I understood him correctly, and I can be up to 120 feet away, and it lasts for as long as an hour. It heavily obscures the area with fog.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so you've now fogged up the tent. Now what?
And I will follow Rack out towards that wall of rock.
Sounds good. Get Nero down here as well. I was using Nero as a monk all of a sudden. Okay, so yeah, so you guys are now at the base of this rock. Really, just we'll make a series of strength checks. Really, it's like athletics checks is what it is. So we'll make like a series of athletics checks. It's not terribly difficult.
Unless you're me.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So Rack starts off quite poorly.
5.
16.
0.
Well, I was gonna say, since you're on my shoulder, I don't think that you have that Internet has to do anything.
It's really kind of a matter of like holding on at that point.
Yeah, I have to hold on.
Okay, my bad.
Okay, so Jesus Christ, Nero is the only one who is successfully starting to scale this thing. Okay, so I'll just do that.
It's because he's got a walking stick. He cheated.
Okay. So go ahead and make like a second go.
I'm assuming with my 0, I fell off his shoulder.
Correct.
As soon as I fall off his shoulder, I would drop cat form and I would cast Long Strider on my.
I got a 24.
So again, Uther is struggling to get up. Rack is now on the move.
16.
Nero is now about 2/3 of the way up the hill. Go ahead and do 1.
14.
Perfect.
Not cat form. I'm back in regular form.
Okay, so you're about 1/3 of the way up. So then this would be the third go.
I got a 3. Does that like me all the way to the top?
No, it did not. The nat 20 helps Rack though, because he would get Rack will give him like a double success for a nat 20. So Rack makes his way up to the top with flair. Nero, Jesus Christ, Nero. Nero is stuck 2/3 of the way up.
Neck stuck behind Nero.
Anarnek is stuck 1/3 of the way up, and Uther is on the ground.
Rack's gonna turn around and kind of drop a rope and try to help the others get up the hill.
Okay.
He's got a rope in his stuff, so he's gonna drop one and try to help each person get up the hill. Probably starting with the closest.
Sure. So just so actually all three of you, just go ahead and roll with advantage.
18 with the rope.
So that is perfect. So this 1, 2, 3. So this will be your fourth go. Okay.
13 with advantage.
Okay. And Anarnek. With advantage.
Advantage? Crap, hang on.
There, it's all fine.
That would be a 2. Nailed it.
Fuck, dropping a nat 1, you get a 2. Okay, so that's the
I'm sorry.
That's the fifth one. So Nero's now up at the top. Rack's up at the top. God, you guys are a mess. Uther and Anarnek are what? Like a third of the way up?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay.
You go first, man. I'll wait.
With advantage, I got a 9.
Thanks. Hey, Anarnek, go ahead.
Was that really with advantage?
Yep.
Okay.
Because it dropped he kept the 8, dropped the 2.
That'd be a 6.
Okay.
That 1 again.
Nero, you can start to see that there is now like another one of these dragon claws starting to make their way from the main tent. It's starting to make his way over towards the prisoner tent.
I'm gonna mind Palace, the two that haven't made it up, and say, "Get your shit together. They're coming."
Okay.
If I were to cast Tangle, which has grasping weeds and vines out from the ground, and it would normally slow people down, but would that make it easier for us to climb? I guess we already have a rope. So doing better than we are?
Yeah, you guys already have advantage. Like I don't know how much more I can really give you guys here.
We get like
Build an
double
escalator, or-
secret advantage.
Can we build an escalator?
Rack's gonna shout down at like whichever one's closest and tell them to tie the end of the rope around their waist so he can continue to pull the rest of them up to help them get up quicker, the best that he can. And if you want, I can roll like a strength check or something for that.
Yes, let's do that.
Rack rolls 12.
Okay. Okay, and then you two roll your fucking athletics checks with advantage again, please.
Scared.
15.
That's good.
Wish me luck. A 19. All right. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you guys are now about 2/3 of the way up the. You guys are about 2/3 of the way up the hill. Again, this guard is now getting right there. He's getting closer. You guys are about 2/3 of the way up the hill. Go ahead and you can do it one more time, guys.
You want me to do the strength check too?
Yes.
I can't believe I dropped another nat 1 again. This is
Natural 20.
Well, that's exciting.
Dirty
Oh.
20.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have hope.
Yeah, Internet, like, just don't roll a nat 1.
Oh, geez,
2 nat 1s.
Jesus, stop it. Okay, we're good.
Okay,
we're good.
yeah. So all you guys, yeah. So from your guys' collective, efforts, you guys have like Rack is now like literally just like yarding you guys in up on this rope, and in the process, like you actually kind of find it almost. You find it a very odd situation where the two of you are like holding onto this rope and kind of using the rope to hand over hand and then like brace yourself and then like walk your way up the hill, and then all of a sudden Rack kind of gets impatient with you, and you all of a sudden you just start feeling him like providing you like a tow rope on a ski lift kind of thing. It kind of be like that where all of a sudden you're starting to get pulled up the hill as well as like walking your way up the hill and all that sort of stuff. You guys get up to the top of the hill, and as you see again, the Dragon Claw guy gets a little bit closer.
We're still only halfway up the hill.
You guys are the whole way up. I just figured like if you guys did like 3 checks, I'm assuming you guys would be making double moves. It'd be a little bit slow because you're actually climbing. So I mean, let's realistically say that the hill was 100 feet or so. If you guys are making double moves 3 times in a row, seems reasonable to me.
100% as Internet, would have crested the top, she would have been like grumbling angrily at herself, but also completely flushed red with embarrassment.
Okay. So you guys are now at the top. What are you guys going to do?
We need to get to cover and signal for Draxon to get out of there now.
How the hell are we gonna signal him?
Out of character, did we let Nero last time like pop up a chair or something like that? A little firework.
There was a chair involved a couple sessions ago. Yeah, some like 4th of July fireworks chair or something. Yeah.
Are we able to signal through you, Nero?
I create the chair.
Okay.
I mean, it's like 5 feet tall. Like it's not, but it will hang in the middle of the sky.
Okay. Okay. So you.
Oh boy.
So you see Nero like conjure up this like red, white, and blue chair. And he shoots it up into the air however many feet. I don't even know how many feet he can go. It doesn't fucking matter. You see this chair go shooting up into the air with like sparklers and fucking streamers shooting off of it in all directions. Draxon, you like I'm not gonna make you roll this. Like you would see this. You would see the chair.
Okay. I will then upon seeing that, immediately take flight, and then using my action, my full movement, and then my action to dash, and then my rogue cunning action to bonus action dash repeatedly, and just go around the encampment, staying on the hill.
Okay. I guess I guess the question here is, I'm assuming you're going counterclockwise.
No, Going clockwise towards the. Actually, no. Yeah, going counterclockwise. That would be the smart thing to do.
Okay. Just curious. Just curious. Okay. And then so yeah, you've now shot off your independence chair. And I mean, again, you have no idea whether or not he's seen it. Although, I mean, it's kind of
Where was the gun
hard.
moving?
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
kind of hard not to see the independence chair. Okay, and then what are you guys doing?
Rack's going to. Is there like a forest to the south of us or anything like that? Or
Yeah, I mean, there's like you're kind of up on a rock face, but there is yeah, you're on a rock face, but I mean, there's trees and foresty stuff around there.
Is there anybody scaling the wall behind us?
Not that you can. What's sorry, you cannot see anyone scaling the wall behind you at this time.
Rack's gonna make his way towards a more better vantage point away from that cliff and start moving away from there, and maybe trying to find a better area to where he can like link up with somewhere. I guess somewhere closer to town and somewhere near Drax, and kind of like I guess southwest from this location. And closer towards Draxton and a little bit less, a lot less away from these guys and this entire encampment.
Hey, so you guys are going to start like booking it to the southwest.
That is what Rack is doing. Yes.
Okay.
Anderneck is definitely following Rack.
Okay. Okay, so you guys start moving, and about 15 minutes or so. You guys are about 15 minutes or so moving from when you started your ascent. And you all of a sudden hear like a horn go off, like a big, like one of the big, Ricola, like one of those big ass cocksucker horns. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like one of the big hunting horns, almost like one of the big hunting horns. And you hear just this one long loud horn blast coming from within the camp, and then all you can really hear is like rummaging. Like people rummaging around like within the camp, as though there's like a big commotion. Again, you're probably about 15 minutes out, so it's not that loud for you, but like even though you're 15 minutes out, you're still able to kind of notice that there is something going on in the camp right now.
Is how far away are we from the town again exactly?
That's a good question. It took you like it basically took you. Fuck, that's a really good question, actually.
I thought it was like we were maybe like an hour to 2 hours away from at least where the greenest location or the greenest area that we were in, where we met, or the last time we seen Escobar.
I understand. Yeah, give me 1 sec here. Sorry, it's been a while. Monks, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I would say that it's. I mean, it's definitely a few hours. Like I'd say the whole thing, from like where like the greenest base camp is now, like new greenest, if you will. I would say it is probably. Man, I'd have to go back and Man, why do they have to use freedom units in so much of this shit? Like, how long would it take you to travel this far? I would say it is probably. I'd say you're probably 4 hours traveling by foot. Maybe a little bit less. 3 hours. 3 hours traveling by foot.
Uh, 3 hours by foot. Okay. Then Rack is gonna keep going, I guess, southwest, trying to get as far away as he can, in hopes that Draxon would meet up there somewhere else. It's not like we created a you know what I mean? It's that we came up with a plan to get to that location. So Rax is going to keep heading southwest. And I'm guessing southwest is probably in a way towards closer to the village. Yes.
Oh yeah. If you're headed to the southwest, you'd definitely be headed towards the village.
Yeah, because we came in from the southwest and curved around top, and then came in from the northwest.
That is correct.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're up on like a ridge, so we should actually be able to get there. Maybe, in my opinion, a little bit quicker. But yeah, so Rack's gonna keep heading in that direction.
I am mere steps behind him.
Okay. Well, then, like you guys are now making your way back towards Greenest. Again, there's you're definitely hearing the sounds of a commotion behind you, coming from the camp. This is really as good a time as any to kind of call it a night, as you guys have as you guys make your way back to Greenest. You guys will be able to kind of settle in. You'd be quite tired from your adventures as you make your way back into as you make your way back into like Greenest base camp. You find yourself quite tired, and guys will be able to settle in for a night. So what is going to happen is, like I said, we are going to end there. You guys are going to get a long rest. And on top of that, you guys are going to level up.
Oh, snap.
Ooh.
Just curious question. Draxon did catch back up with us, correct?
Draxon will eventually have caught up with you guys. Yes. By the time you guys get back to Greenest, I mean, it wouldn't take much for him to, kind of fly about or whatever and eventually clock you guys and get back caught up with you.
Roger that. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
No problem.
Nice.
So you guys are going to level up. So for the next session, and we can do that now, or we can do it before next session. It really doesn't matter. As I realize, we are significantly later than we normally are, and there's at least one, probably a couple of folks who have to work tomorrow. So again, there's no need to do it now. But I will leave the server up. That's really neither here nor there. That's not something we need to talk about on stream. But you guys will be leveling up to level 4.
Great.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Thanks,
More
everybody.
Minotaur power.
Thanks,
Sorry, go ahead.
thanks everybody that rated and joined us today.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Now that I'm not super invested in the story here, guys, thank you, Fluffy and Mr. O, for the raids. Like, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for sharing your community with an extension of the Winner's Circle community. So again, my friends, we are trying to get this channel up to affiliate-ness, so we can start getting you guys emotes and stuff like that. We are currently 14 followers away from reaching that part of the goal. So if you have not done so already, if you would please just consider doing us a favor, hitting that follow button. It really honestly goes a long way for us. and we appreciate you guys coming in and helping us out. Thank you, everyone.